Welcome to the show, everybody. This is the Farsi Show, presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. This Nick Sirianni, quote-unquote, play call at the end of the Packers game still is, it's still one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. My feeling yesterday, as I explained, was that he was covering for somebody because his answer made no sense, okay? It made no sense about going for a field goal in that situation, trying to get a little closer on fourth down. Do you think there's 5 downs? How do you think this works? And then, because obviously I'm doing a post-game show, I'm not listening to Scott Van Pelt. I'm not listening to Devontae Smith. So thanks to the work of you wonderful people, somebody mentioned, hey, Devontae Smith basically told SVP that this was a play call by Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. So I went back and I watched SVP sit down with Devontae Smith at Lambeau Field right after the game, little one-on-one interview, a lot of Eagles fans in the stands going nuts. It was great. And SVP, as he should, is like, hey, that play at the end, congratulations on the win, by the way, but that play at the end of the game, that seemed not, you shouldn't have, why? And Devontae Smith talks about the play, and he ends it by saying, whatever 1 and 11 want to do, we're going to ride with it. Huh. Well, that would lead you to believe that Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown made the call themselves. They went rogue. Huh. Has this happened before? Yes, it's happened before. Has it happened before where Nick Sirianni took it on the chin, despite it being 2 players going rogue? Yes, it's happened before. That was in Seattle 2 years ago during the epic collapse, and Jalen Hurts threw downfield to A.J. Brown for some dumb reason towards the end of that game, and it ended up not going in the Eagles' favor. Nick Sirianni took it on the chin after the game, and then after the media ice out was over, the famous media ice out of A.J. Brown said, you know why I love Nick? Because Nick takes it for us, man. You know, that play in Seattle, he said that was on him. It wasn't on him. That was us going rogue. Huh. So then my good buddy Bill Colarulo puts out there on 97.5 The Fanatic that, in fact, yes, it was his report, that it was a go rogue situation. A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts acted alone. Okay, so let's stick in that world for a second here. Act alone? Was this all Jalen's idea to try to get A.J. Brown a catch, a game-sealing touchdown? Because if it was, A.J. Brown looked like he didn't know about it because he made a 0 effort to try to catch that football. He looked just as surprised as Nick Sirianni. The reason I said it just doesn't look like it's Nick Sirianni's call here. I called it a dumb call because I didn't know where it came from. I don't think I said it was Nick Sirianni's dumb call. I don't think I even said it was Kevin Patullo's dumb call. But they get the shot, and I said this immediately after the game. Monday Night Football gets the shot of Nick Sirianni walking down the sideline after the incompletion on the 4th and 6 with 33 seconds left, and he's going, why? And I'm like, if he's saying why, then what the hell's going on here? Was he surprised by Kevin Patullo's play call? Did AJ and Jalen Hurts act alone? Was he told by the analytics department? Like, this is where I'm going. It was so dumb. That I'm like, did this come from the analytics department to say, no, you got to do this here? And even if, why are you that surprised on the sideline? So through Devontae Smith saying whatever 1 and 11 want to do, we're going to ride with it, to my man Bill Colarulo, who I trust, by the way, good dude, putting it out there saying that they went rogue. And then in the clip of the show we did, me, Seth, and Gunner, where we're talking about the final play, somebody says, well, apparently they went rogue, and Gunner goes, yep, they did. So it's kind of easy to say. However, after the game, Nick Sirianni went down this path.
Again, and that moment, we made the decision to go for it in that one. Don't regret that at all. Wanted to be able to end the game. Played it, it didn't work this time. Sometimes that happens but I got a lot of faith in sending those guys back out there. In those scenarios, I had a very similar one, that we're all high-fiving about against Cleveland last year, right? Very similar, that we went vertical on and Jalen made a great play. Didn't work this time. Had in a 4-minute mode, kind of similar-ish to the Minnesota game. So, when they work, they were high-fiving. When they don't work, you're going to go back and.
Yeah, when they don't work, they don't. Okay. What he's saying is similar-ish, and I talked about this yesterday. There's 2 plays I pointed out yesterday. In Cleveland, the game, the play that iced it, that was the game. That was the 20-16 win against Cleveland last year, with about 7:54 remaining in the game. That was a touchdown. I thought he was referring to the touchdowns. Then in the Minnesota game, with about 6:54 left, that was the A.J. Brown touchdown down the middle of the field. All right, so then you go later in those games, the plays that he's talking about that really iced the game, not necessarily put the Eagles in front. Those were at 1:45 remaining on a 3rd and 9 on the Eagles' own 44-yard line. They threw it down the middle of the field, or they threw it down the field to A.J. Brown, and that iced the game. That was on a 3rd and 9. I believe you had a timeout left. Minnesota had a timeout left. You're still up a score, obviously. 1:45 remaining in the game on a 3rd and 9. So when he's like, it was like that. There is nothing like we just punt it and we win. Essentially, we punt it and we win. Or you give them the ball around midfield, and all they need is a field goal to tie and force overtime. That's dumb. Don't do that. I didn't even want them to kick the field goal. And everyone was like, yeah, you kicked the field goal. Nick Sirianni earlier in the press conference said that 2 days ago. Yeah, you just kicked the field goal. No, you don't kick the field goal. When I saw Jalen Hurts line up in shotgun, I went, okay, they're going to take the delay game. They're going to back it up, get a better angle, put it in the corner, hopefully, Braden Mann, and then you're off and running, and it's a party. That's what I thought they were going to do with it. And they didn't do that. And against the Cleveland Browns last year. So the Minnesota game, that was ish like it. That was sort of like it-ish. The 2-minute warning. They come out of the 2-minute warning on a 2nd and 10. And that's when they threw it downfield. I believe that one was also to A.J. Brown. And that's what iced the game. A 2nd down, a 3rd down is not a 4th and 6 situation with 33 seconds left. You had a 2-minute warning, and he had 1:45. And by the way, your defense had stopped the Packers all the livelong day. So what do we? I can't. Like, we're on the same page that that's just a dumb decision. Whether it was Nick Sirianni or whether it was Jalen Hurts, dumb decision. And I really hope A.J. Brown didn't say it after the game. Jalen Hurts didn't say it after the game. The only thing that alluded to anybody other than Nick Sirianni making the call was when he said, we decided to go for it. Now, I'm gonna hope that today, when Nick Sirianni addresses the media, we get a little bit more light shined on this. Because, like, in all honesty, hey, good on you, coach. Good on you, Nick Sirianni, for doing what a lot of great coaches do, which is just you get all the blame and none of the credit, right? That's why Andy Reid, without consciousness, would just say, my job, I got to do a better job. That's on me, my responsibility. I did it. I'm stupid. Everyone's smart. I'm a moron. Everyone's a genius. Well, he never went that far, but you get what I'm saying. Hey, Nick, like, I hope somebody says to Nick, I hope they treat it like it's a trial. Mr. Sirianni, there is reports out there that play call did not come from the sidelines. That play call did not come from you or Kevin Patullo or even the analytics department. There's a report out there that it came from Jalen Hurts himself. Also, after that play, Coach Sirianni, you were seen with video evidence from a camera on Monday Night Football of saying, why? But yet after the game, Coach Sirianni, you said that was your play call. You said that we made the decision. You said that you would stick by that decision. Here's you saying that.
You know, we're up 3. And I would have liked to be in a little closer to kick a field goal. But the closer we would have got, the more, again, you play every situation a little bit differently, but I think it was into the wind on that one. I knew the kick would have to be a little bit lower trajectory, of a kick on that particular one. I got a lot of faith in our offense. It didn't work out on this one. We just didn't get it, but the decision, I stand put on that decision.
I stand put on that decision. Put. Not making fun of him for misspeaking. Lord knows I do it enough, but he doesn't want to say what he's saying. Stand by that decision. Yeah. There's little things you pick up. He's lying. He's covering. It's very simple. So, with all that said, Coach Sirianni, can you just admit that wasn't on you? That you didn't come up with that idea? That the coaching staff, because here's one thing. Without that final play, let's say that the Eagles did line up like that. They did take the delay of game. They did get pushed back a little bit. They did get the opportunity to get a better angle into the corner there, try to bury the Packers way back there with, I don't know, 28 seconds left on the clock maybe after the punt, 25 seconds left on the clock with no timeouts after the punt. Even if that's the way the Eagles played it, which is how the Eagles should have played it, I'm ready to fire Kevin Patullo. I am ready to move on from his ass. After that performance coming out of the bye week, seriously? After the sputtering offense throughout the season, I feel like patience isn't even the right word. I feel like I've tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. I've talked about Jalen Hurts leaving meat on the bone in some of these games. The offensive line not being healthy. I thought we kind of cracked a code here after the Giants game and after Minnesota Vikings game of the way you could block as an offensive line, and just nothing looked right with this offense. One touchdown. Hey, look, you had a long drive that was killed, unfortunately, by the Jalen Hurts fumble. And, yes, hell of a punch out by Edgerrin Cooper. Phenomenal job by him. I watching the play like 3 or 4 times yesterday, my thing was, hey, 2 hands. two hands there, Jalen Hurts. But he's going to the ground, so he puts his arm out to break the fall. And that's exactly when Cooper came in. I think it was a better play by Cooper than it was egregious mistake by Jalen Hurts. I think that's the way you balance that play. But either way, fumble, great drive, fumble. You think you're at least going to come away with 3 there. You obviously hope to come away with 7. Didn't happen. And then from that point on, really nothing until the fourth quarter, where I went back and watched the film on it yesterday. That little check down to Saquon Barkley that he broke off for 41 yards. That they were obviously going to Jalen Hurts' right to Dallas Goedert on that out route, and it wasn't there. He was covered. Everybody else was covered. Jalen really didn't have any other throw but to Saquon. So for him to go from all the way to his right, looking at Dallas Goedert and a huge throwing lane to do it, he's just covered, so no play there. For him to just whip back around like that quick and go right to Saquon, perfect. And Saquon in space, I will take all day. And they're able to get that kind of play out. Credit to A.J. Brown running with them as a blocker. They have 41 yards out of it. Next play, bing, bang, boom. Devontae Smith goes up and gets it for the touchdown. But other than that, offense left a lot to be desired. A lot to be desired. And they have really all season long. So even without that 4th and 6 play, I don't need that to think that Kevin Patullo is in way over his head. And I think Sirianni can do himself a lot of favors here by just saying, all right, look, there's too much evidence out there. I have confidence in our players. If that's what they decide to do, that they'll make it happen. It didn't work on this one. There's no sense of taking this one on the chin when everybody else knows. Now, what I would really love is for Jalen Hurts, when he addresses the media, to come out there and say, hey, I understand there's a lot of scrutiny on that last play. That was on us. That was on me. I said I called that play. I wanted to ice the game. I didn't want to have to put it on our defense after they had already bailed us out, throughout the entire game. Like, I would love to hear that from Jalen Hurts. Because in all honesty, I don't expect, even with the mountain of evidence suggesting that was not Nick Sirianni or Kevin Patullo's play call at the end of the game, I still feel that today when Nick Sirianni addresses the media, he's going to come out and he's going to say, yeah, no, I still stick by it. That was us. We made the call. I'm sorry, Coach, did you make the call? Yeah, we made the call. Did Kevin Patullo make the call? Yeah, we made the call. Did Jalen Hurts make the call? Yeah, we made the call. And I know other people jump to the idea of, well, they shouldn't even be out there on the 4th and 6. So that's still on Sirianni. Okay. I still think it's better to get the delay of game and punt it into the corner. Get a better chance of punting in the corner. Give Braden Mann a little bit more room. Not a necessity, but that thought did go through my mind when they were out there. So, and that at least looked like because they call timeout before the play. It looks like everyone's on the same page, and then the ball gets snapped, and then all hell breaks loose. All right, so I look forward to hearing what Nick Sirianni has to say about that play. Yeah, things don't get much easier against the Lions coming up here this weekend for another primetime affair, Sunday Night Football. So we'll break that one down. Yesterday, another thing I want to hear from Nick Sirianni is just this offense, is that going to get better and stuff? Because that was scary. Again, take away what happened on that last play. That was scary. I didn't like seeing how this offense played at all. And one thing I will say about Jalen Hurts, when the offense really struggles and you have like low scoring games like you had against the Saints last year in the third game of the season, the Ravens game last year, I don't remember that one being a barn burner, but I do. And I remember the Eagles offense struggling a lot throughout that game. This game here against the Packers, one thing about Jalen Hurts is way more often than not, the offense might be struggling, the defense might be carrying you, whatever it might be. Jalen's got that play, man. Way more often than not. He'll make the play to get the ball to Saquon Barkley in space. He'll make the throw to throw it up there for Devontae Smith when he knows he's got the safety beat and can then beat the safety as well when it comes to going up and getting that football. When it comes to that rub route of Dallas Goedert against the Saints for 67 yards, like he's got that play. When it comes to the Ravens game, that 3rd and 7, got it across the middle, he's got that play. He always seems to have that, no matter how much everything around him. And I don't look. It's a 1 touchdown game against the Packers. I don't put a lot of that on Jalen. I put a lot of that on the offense. Like there was way too many problems for you to just go. Like for instance, sure. I always say that when everything around you is struggling, you got to be, or when everything around you stinks, you got to be the deodorant as a quarterback. Well, that finally happened in the 4th quarter. But there are throws throughout that game where Jalen was a little short, or Jalen and Dallas Goedert were on the same page on a little route where Goddard leaked out. And we didn't even leak out. That was the play call. And Jalen's rolling to his right. He's got Goddard in front of him. He's not even looking at him. And Jalen throws the ball. That's not a timing route. Like you're not looking for Goddard to make a cut and the ball be in his gut. You're looking right at him. You got time because you're rolling away from the play. Give him a minute. And then when you do, loft it over and Goddard scored a touchdown. But he didn't do it. Yeah, it was one missed throw like that. I'm not going to harp on that. But when I see everything offensively going wrong around Jalen Hurts, I'm not just going to blame Jalen Hurts. Were there plays that you missed? Yeah, sure. There was nothing that I saw in this game that was as egregious as, for instance, in the Giants game when he left a 50-yard touchdown on the bone when he had Jahan Dotson open over the top and instead settled for the 23-yard reception by Dallas Goedert, which he made Dallas Goedert wait for over the middle. It's not as egregious as the awful interception, and it wasn't just the interception. It was the zeroing in on the target, telegraphing the pass, the wrong read, the perfect defense to be set up for an interception like that, and then also knowing that you're going to have A.J. Brown open likely in the end zone coming across the top. There's nothing in this game against the Packers like that game against the Giants that the Eagles lost. Everything went wrong for this offense. So this isn't a game that I think you really focus on what Jalen Hurts did. The fumble, again, that was more of a great play by Edgerrin Cooper than Jalen. So the bigger issue for me is how this coaching staff is going to get these guys going again, especially against a team like the Lions, where you're going to have to get it going again. All right. So people just like to come to the Eagles and then retire, apparently. So Zadarius Smith. Hey, guys, thanks for that sack. I'm out. Deuces. And Jair Alexander, who the Eagles traded for him to not even play a game. I think they gave up a 7th rounder and got a 6th. Is that how that worked? After not only not being active in the game he had the first opportunity to be active in, he also just up and quote unquote stepped away to concentrate on getting himself healthy. Okay. The vibe that Derek Gunn put out there on Monday night was when he reached out to his sources with the Eagles. He's like, so, Jair Alexander, he's been inactive for 5 games, but been healthy, to use a hockey term, a healthy scratch, if you will. Why? And the impression that he got from his sources with the Eagles. Yeah, we're desperate, man. What do you want from us? Like, we're desperate. I really wish Christian Parker. Well, hey, the Eagles still get a pick out of it, so I guess that's something. But this just doesn't. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Zadarius Smith now and Jair Alexander. Yeah, hey guys, thanks for letting us stop by, but we're done. Okay. Just the latest. Shifting gears. The Philadelphia 76ers really dropped a whole lot on us yesterday. Like a whole lot. First up, before the game, we hear about Joel Embiid will be missing the game. It's not a back-to-back playing against the Boston Celtics. By the way, a game on NBC. And Joel Embiid will miss the game with knee soreness. Okay. After the game against the Raptors, where you actually saw him run the floor, you saw him actually look a little athletic, he has soreness. So they said he's going to get reevaluated. All right. Then the game happens. Let's get to the game. The 76ers beat the Boston Celtics 102-100. Justin Edwards went bananas in this game. If you've watched me and Keith Pompey at all on Locked On 76ers, you've heard us talking about, is Justin Edwards okay? Because this is a guy that worked his way into an NBA deal, NBA contract last year during the Tankathon. Struggled in the Utah Summer League, struggled in the Vegas Summer League, struggled in Abu Dhabi, struggled the rest of the preseason, struggled through the first 10 games this season. Like, there is nobody really that hurt their stock more, that was healthy to play, more so than Justin Edwards hurt his stock. So, first and foremost, Edwards comes out in the second quarter of yesterday's game, gets a 3, gets an and 1, gets a 3. Justin Edwards essentially goes on his own personal 9-0 run against the Boston Celtics in that second quarter. Then he also gets an offensive rebound that then translates to an N1 situation for Andre Drummond. All right. Hey, Justin Edwards, let's cook, baby. Then the third quarter happens in yesterday's game. Sixers going to halftime up 10 points on the Boston Celtics. They're up 51 to 41 against the Celtics. They win that second quarter 28-19. Then, as they so graciously on the NBC broadcast last night, side note, pause it right there. How great was it to hear Round Ball rock again? How great was it? Childhood. The only thing I needed to hear was, well, you got Marv Albert in the open. Yes. Iverson. Yeah. Anyway, if I didn't have this, still fighting this cold a little bit, just a little bit, I feel fine just to deal with the after effects. I mean, I'd be rocking out my Marv Albert impression right now. Need a little Bob Costas at the table, that kind of thing. But Mike Tirico's great. Love Mike Tirico. So, okay, resume. Third quarter. They put it up in the graphic there. The Sixers have the worst negative point differential in the third quarter. In other words, they suck. They're the worst in the third quarter. And then to their credit, they did put it up in the fourth quarter that they're like the second best in the fourth quarter point differential. So as fate would have it, the Sixers get blown out by 16 points in that third quarter. Jaylen Brown had 14 points in that quarter alone. Sixers were terrible. So get to the fourth quarter. Justin Edwards again. Sixers find themselves down 8 points in that fourth quarter, and then Justin Edwards strikes again. Justin Edwards knocked down a three to make it an 85-77 game. Justin Edwards comes up with a steal and gets a slam out of it to make it an 85-82 game. Edwards also pulled up for a jumper, got it from Grimes. He made it a 2-point game. Then when the Sixers, this is when they were down 8 points, you get Drummond, gets the oop from Maxey, makes it 90-84. Then Edwards hits a three, 92-87 with about 6 minutes left. Edwards hits another three, 33 seconds later, makes it 92-90. Then Edwards hits another three. After Brown missed a dunk down the other end, Sixers get it back. Justin Edwards gives the Sixers 93-92 lead with 4:42 remaining. Timeout, Boston Celtics. Now we got ourselves a brand new ball game. Maxey comes up, unfortunately, misses a couple shots. There was one possession where the Sixers went, or one sequence where it went Maxey miss, Derek White miss, Maxey missed again. Jaylen Brown got fouled by Kelly Oubre. He's only able to split the free throws. It makes it a 100-100 game with 33.5 seconds left in the game. Maxey drives, kicks it out to Edwards. Edwards misses this three, what would have been his 6-3 of the game to put the Sixers up 103-100. But Andre Drummond, under the basket, is getting taken out, I believe, by Cada, and that opens up a spot for Kelly Oubre to slide right under the basket. The ricochet, the rebound goes right to him. He puts it right back up for the Sixers to take a 102-100 lead. Kelly Oubre with the putback, 8.7 seconds left on the clock. Celtics call timeout. Kelly Oubre and Andre Drummond are in on the ice out of the Celtics. They force a loose ball situation. It actually reminded me a very little bit of the last time the Sixers and Celtics played, where Quentin Grimes had the ball at the end of the game and kind of bobbled it and then just got it off to Joel Embiid, who unfortunately couldn't get the shot off because the buzzer was sounding. But it was a little bit of a bobble there by Quentin Grimes, wasted a little too much time, and then got it to Embiid late. But on this play, Kelly Oubre D's up Jaylen Brown just like he had through the entire quarter. I believe Brown in the fourth quarter only had 2 or 3 points. I think that's how that ended up. Great defense there by Kelly Oubre. Andre Drummond came up to help out on Derek White. Derek White, it was knocked away by Drummond. Derek White corrals it, turns, fires, and then they almost get essentially a long alley-oop from around mid-court. And instead of getting the alley-oop to tie it, they missed that opportunity. Derek White way off on the shot. Was that Kada as well trying to put that one in? I forget, but Sixers get the win. I felt great with Justin Edwards knocking down those shots in the second quarter. I felt fantastic when Justin Edwards was knocking down those shots in the fourth quarter, really making a game of it, because there was a feeling of, oh, the Celtics are just going to take this over now. There was one particular instance there where the Sixers had a big shot of life, and it was at the end of that atrocious third quarter when the Sixers are getting blown out and they're down 19 points in the quarter, and they're down, I think it was 9 in total. Yeah, they were down 9 points going into the fourth quarter. At least that's what it looked like. And then Quentin Grimes hit a half-court buzzer beater. It cut the deficit to only 6 points going into the fourth quarter. And it helped, I don't know, maybe momentum a little bit in that fourth quarter. But Quentin Grimes rising up and knocking that down was great. So right after the game, Sixers obviously get the win. Right after the game, the news comes out from Shams Charania about Paul George. Paul George progressing through his rehab process. Later this week, he's going to get reevaluated, and it looks like right now, this week is a pivotal week in the return of Paul George. He could get reevaluated, and everything looks hunky-dory, and we see him come out maybe this weekend, or excuse me, Monday, maybe Friday, maybe Monday. I don't know. They're waiting to see more strength in that knee. And then the other news comes out that Joel Embiid, as it was announced before the game, he was going to get reevaluated. He did get reevaluated. No structural damage, just dealing with soreness. He is day to day. So Sixers, really from the fourth quarter on, from that three with about 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter from Justin Edwards till the end of the game, and then beyond the press conferences, nothing but good vibes for your 10-9-8 76ers. They got the Pistons, I believe, on Friday, 7:30 tip-off. So that's what they got for your Philadelphia 76ers. Also, I don't know what the question was, but apparently Justin Edwards' mom was there. I also saw Joel Embiid, despite him not playing. I think his dad was sitting there courtside as well, or on the baseline. But yeah, Justin Edwards' mom was there last night, and I know he's from the area. But I don't know what the question was, but it was something along the lines of what Justin Edwards is going to do. And his mom, I don't know, but whatever it was that was said or asked, Justin Edwards' mom was at the press conference, and she answered the question and was like, he better not or I'll beat his ass. Like something like that. It was something like that, and the whole place cracked up. That was funny. Good job, Mom. Good job, Mom. So Sixers, they pick up the win. They improve to 7-4. On the young season. We had a conversation yesterday, Keith Pompey and I want to throw it out to you guys. I am very pleasantly surprised by this start of the Sixers season. Obviously, at the time we were doing the show yesterday, they were only 10 games into the season. Now they're 11. I really enjoy watching a Tyrese Maxey-led basketball team. Maxey's got to get better on closing out games. Like last night, I mentioned there was a couple opportunities where he really could have been the guy to knock down those shots. And he was great. Don't get me wrong last night, but I mean, he wasn't like 35 points great. I mean, he's the second leading scorer in the NBA right now. And unfortunately just wasn't connecting. He was getting teammates involved. He was facilitating. He was being more of that point guard. So that was great. But would definitely like to see a little bit more towards the end of the games from him. Want to see more steady play from VJ Edgecombe. And VJ Edgecombe knocked down a three last night off a high bounce that really helped keep the Sixers' life, keep their lifeline going in this game. But I just really enjoy watching this Sixers team play. And as talented and as great as Joel Embiid is as an individual player, this much more team-stressed basketball is just so much better to watch. It's not just, give it to Embiid and watch him decide what to do with the basketball for 10 seconds, or hunt for a foul, go to the line. Like it's a much more exciting, fast-paced style that is 1,000 times more enjoyable. And I acknowledge everything great that Joel Embiid did as a player, MVP caliber for those years. I believe those years are done. I've said that many times. But if he can find another way to play where he can be a guy to get you rebounds and still get you 20 to 25 points a game and set up his teammates, like he was doing against the Raptors Saturday night, if he could be a lot more of that guy, then I think, and by the way, that was a 29-point night, then I think the Sixers are going to be great. If he can run the floor and not be, oh, okay, now I got soreness, I got to shut it down. If he can run the floor like that, and he can provide you with some, good defense, like a big man should, well then, yeah, you could be pretty set for later in the season. But if they just can't hold up, then that's obviously going to be a problem. But watching the first 11 games of this season with 3 back-to-backs already thrown in the midst of those, it's just so much more fun to watch this type of team led by your guards as opposed to a big man. And you get nights where the Sixers are hitting their shots. Like last night in the first half, Celtics couldn't throw the ball in the ocean. I think they were terrible in the first half of yesterday's game, but the Sixers were actually on top of it. You didn't see that the second time around with the Celtics. Celtics were like shooting 61% from the floor in the first half of the second game of the season that the Sixers and Celtics played. But yeah, Boston was 1 for 11 from 3 in the second quarter. They were 4 for 21 overall. And they shot 28% from the floor. The Sixers, by the way, shot 47.5% from the floor in the first half. So that, yeah, you kind of knew that the Celtics weren't going to shoot 1 for 11 from 3 for a game. In a quarter, yeah, they did. And they did that in the second quarter. They weren't going to be, 41 for 21. Or excuse me, 4 for 21. 4 for 21 from 3. They weren't going to continue at that percentage for the rest of the game. And yeah, in the third quarter, they came alive. But watching the guards run the show, watching Maxey run the show, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. So we'll see what we get for Joel Embiid for the rest of the season. Hey, your Philadelphia Flyers, by the way, had a little controversy over the weekend that I didn't even touch on because we had a lot of Eagle stuff going on. Sean Couturier on Matvei Mishkov. I like how the hockey world, like this doesn't happen in hockey, really. Like I remember when Sergei Bobrovsky came to the Flyers and then the Flyers played the Coyotes and the Coyotes were like, yeah, we're glad he's gone. Like Philadelphia reporters were asking about, hey, you're playing against your old goalie. What's that like? And they're like, no, we didn't like him. Like for the hockey world to not like somebody and say it openly, that guy's got to be real wackadoo, right? Well, stuff in hockey, this is stuff in hockey where you hear like anybody throw anybody under the bus. They're just like good Canadian farm boys, that kind of thing, even though Coots is like really from Arizona or something like that. Well, he totally threw Matvei Mishkov under the bus. Like talking about, yeah, you got to do more than score goals, like that type of thing. Like, I'm like, is he wrong? Because I thought that was kind of one of the criticisms of John Tortorella. I thought that was one of the criticisms coming out of camp, that Matvei Mishkov showed up and he didn't even look like he was in shape. He's a phenomenal player. He can be a phenomenal player. He can obviously be a great goal scorer. He's got a lot of potential out there as his NHL career goes on. He's got to take his talent more seriously. But, oh, my God, the captain of the Flyers called him out a wee bit. Oh, how dare he? Good for him. But because it's the hockey community and everyone's a good guy, it's weird to have that out publicly. I don't have a problem with it at all. I listened to it and I went, oh, good for him. A leader being a leader. Maybe multiple people have told him, like, dude, take it serious. And he's like, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Yeah, maybe this was one of the last straws there. Keep on singing, Coots. Keep on singing like a canary. You keep that stuff in the barn. Keep that stuff in the dressing room. You don't air that out. No, air it out. Let it rip, man. Let it rip. Anyway, excuse me. Flyers did lose to the Senators. Flyers back against the Oilers tonight. South Philadelphia, 7:30 puck drop at the Xfinity Mobile Arena, which is still weird to say. Let me tell you about the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code FARS, you get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Want to go to the game, the concert, the comedy show? Game Time app has you covered. Take advantage of all they have to offer on the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's PHLSportsNation.com. I'm scrolling through the chat already. All right, let's get to the chat check. Rye, good morning. April, hello, April. Good morning. Sean Gillespie, Natalie, hello, Natalie. Sean Kilrain, hello. Oh, wow. Sean Kilrain, Miles Jack. Miles Jack, remember that? He wanted to get ready for a zombie apocalypse. That might be the greatest reason to quit a job. He wanted to He wanted to learn a trade. Was it an electrician? He wanted to be an electrician? A welder? He wanted some kind of like zombie apocalypse job. He ended up catching on with the Steelers for a minute after he was here in Philly. Devin White, that was a cold cut. I don't even think that was Devin White retiring. Was it? Zadarius Smith, Shaq Leonard. Wow. Yeah, guys that look around and be like, yep, no thanks. No thanks. Sean Kilrain, Eagles through 9 games. (2022) 8-1, 2024 or 2023 8-1, 2024 7-2, 2025 7-2. Beyond impressive. Yeah, Nick Sirianni knows how to get these guys prepared, man. That's if you're looking for something that he does great, that's one thing he does great. Eagles fan, hello, morning Farzi. Why the hell are people leaving this team like this? Is it a coincidence or is there something wrong in the locker room? I don't think that's it. I think it is a coincidence, but I don't think there's something wrong in the locker room where people look around and be like, nope. Like, okay, so whenever you have one extreme, there's got to be the other extreme. Like that's, I don't know if there's some probably scientific rule to that, that I don't know. But like you listen to Jalen Phillips be like, oh, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Oh my God, this is amazing. For anyone that loves that, like looks at that and looks around, this is incredible. That's somebody else's. This sucks. Why am I? These people are so nice and respectful and motivated. That's not me. Like, there's got to be something like that. Jalen Phillips was like taking a 7-year-old to Disney for the first time. Wow, this is great. Cousin. What's up, cousin? Sean Kerwin saw this. AJ Brown was asked everything good. Oh, I did see this. The streamer, the video gamer dude, allegedly, and it was picked up, I think, also by who was it picked up by? Bleeding Green Nation, I think. Everything good, and then apparently AJ's account. No, where have you been? Family's good. Everything else? No. It's Ish. It's an Ish show. You on some? How you been? There you go. Oh, that's what his response was. Thank you. Yeah, I don't. I have it. I don't know. I think it's tough to put it out there like that. I'm done. I'm just done. I can't anymore. This team is 7-2. They got bigger problems than AJ Brown. They got bigger problems. They're terrible offensively. Terrible. Figure that out. And I know he's a big part of it because he's a great wide receiver. He's top dollar money and all that stuff. But I just can't with the complaining outside of like stop telling me there's a problem and not telling me what the problem is. Like that. What are we, children? Ridiculous. I'm literally exhausted. Andrew Wachowski. I knew it, Andrew Wachowski. What's going on there? How you doing? Ken Saad, hello. Sean Kilrain, hello. I agree with you, Farzi. Total embarrassment to run the offensive plays like that after the bye. Stop keeping guys in-house and go outside the organization. I agree. Ken Saad, good morning. Good morning. I did see this a lot yesterday that Eagles Packers was like a playoff game. After the fact, I could say that. Oh, that was like a playoff game. But in it, I'm like, guys, you're coming out of the bye week. What are you doing? It's week 10. 2 ways to look at it. Show them nothing. Treat it like a playoff game. B, show everything and let them prepare for everything. See, I like show nothing until playoffs or to win a game. I hope that's what they're doing. But then if that's what they're doing, I don't think you're seeing the shovel passes to Dallas Goedert. I don't think you're seeing a tush-push sweep. I don't think you're seeing a tush-push quarterback keeper left the way he did against the Packers. I don't think you're seeing any of that if you're really trying to keep things close to the vest. April, it was an ugly win. I'll take a win either way, but I'm worried about the attitude in the locker room right now. I'm worried. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's on the radar, but for me, it's still about the way this offense just isn't cooking. And I thought the bye week was supposed to be the time to have those tough conversations. Now, look, if they come out and they blow out the Lions this year, then we're all going to feel a hell of a lot better. But until then, it doesn't make you feel like that's on tap. Danny, hello. Oh, yeah, Sean, we talked about this. Parsons trying to trip Saquon. That was a weird play because usually when it's a trip, like the guy is already beat and he sticks his foot out. But this was like he reached for Saquon and was trying to trip him, and it wasn't called. That was a weird play. Flyers 8-5-2. Hell yeah. Rye, love it. Yeah, what was it? We gave up a 6th-round pick for him and a 7th-round pick. I thought they got a pick back for Jair Alexander, but I could be wrong. And Sean, if you're saying it, I probably am wrong. I just did these the other day. "28 years old. Jesus, Mary and Joseph." Yeah, guys, I gotta call it a career. It's over. Let us step away for a minute. I like that Zadarius Smith was just like, yeah, no, I'm done. I'm retiring. Got to get ready for that zombie apocalypse with Miles Jack. That's what I gotta get. I don't want to be behind the ball. Ravens traded Jair Alexander with a 2027 7th-round pick to the Eagles in exchange for a 6th-round pick. Yeah, so the Eagles got a 7th-round pick back. So they lose their 6th in this upcoming draft, but they gain a 7th in next year's draft, 2 years from now. Mental health isn't listed on the injury report. Hopefully, dude gets his stuff together before making a final error. Yeah, I don't want to even put that on him. I just know that he wants to get himself right. But I hear what you're saying, Rye. And I agree. It doesn't show up on the injury report. I have faith in the Phillies lineup with a playoff game on the line. I have more faith in the Natalie, this is a great point. I have more faith in the Phillies lineup in a playoff game than I do Embiid's knees and Paul George's quads. Yeah. Oh, yes. Ahmad Rashad come back to the NBA. I would love it. Joe Davis is pretty solid. Joe Davis, I like. Pin 9617. Hey, Farzy, you sound like Beavis and Butthead humming the NBA and NBC theme song. Wow, that does take me back. Beavis and Butthead for me was like 5th grade, 6th grade. Oh, man. Still gets me. Kelly Oubre did well last night. Yes, he did, especially on the defensive end of things. Natalie P. Thank you, Natalie. Oubre is underappreciated. I couldn't agree more. It would be impossible for me to agree more with that statement. Darkwing Ducky, hello. Are the Birds playing possum with play call? I don't think so. North Philly Niff. Farzy, we don't know what's going on in people's heads. Folks just don't walk away from the type of money without bigger things going on in their lives. I don't want to just jump to the conclusion that he's stepping away to get his stuff together. Like, I don't like that could mean a million things. So I'm not going to jump to that. But if that's a problem, because this is also a guy that has had health problems. This is also a guy that when he was in Baltimore was inactive for 5 games. Nobody said anything about mental health. So I don't want to just jump to that. Pin 96-17. Plus, also, if it was something like that, I don't think Christian Parker would just say, oh, yeah, go get him. The NBA scheduling has sucked. Why have the Sixers already played? So, yeah, it's a weird schedule this year, especially with the back-to-back so early, and 16 of them, by the way, throughout the year. Carpenter. That's what Miles Jack wanted to be. April wasn't expecting to be with a Butthead impersonation today, but here we are. Hey, happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. By the way, man, Monday night, a week of Monday Night Football. I feel like it's already Friday. Like I'm so thrown off. So I'm just getting used to daylight savings, and now you're throwing this on me. Monday night game. Then we got a Sunday night game, which means next week's gonna feel like it's forever. Anyway, thanks to everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful as per usual. Morning Rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Really, all that's there. Flyers tonight, 7:30. Puck drop. South Philadelphia against the Edmonton Oilers. Once again, Flyers 8-5-1. The Oilers 7-6-4 on the season. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I will be back with you guys tomorrow and also later today at 10 o'clock for Locked On 76ers. So much to get into with Keith Pompey. We'll break it all down and more later on today at 10 o'clock. Keith Pompey and I from Inquirer.com. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys tomorrow.